Alright. Alright, it's your boy Tove. Today we have an interesting one. Very interesting one. Playing a game called No More Future. It's a visual novel game. We are a young adult male anthropomorphic basically creature. And we get brain cancer, then a big corporation comes to us, and they say they can save us, put us in a new body, and then we're put in a new world after we wake up. That's just from the description. So without further ado, let's get into it. There's a little twist. You'll see what I'm talking about in a sec. Here we go. So I just hit. Is this your first time playing through the game? Yes. I see. Let's get started right away, shall we? Before that, a few words of caution. The story is a work of fiction. Any resemblance to real people, places, world events, and anything else that isn't explicitly named is entirely coincidental. Okay. Oh, I should also mention this game deals with depression and stuff like that, so just a heads up. The story is also referenced. Oh, here we go. The story also references topics such as death, depression, suicide, suicidal thoughts, violence, and other topics that aren't suitable for ages 15 and below. Safe for work though, but it's just the topics are serious. I don't know, supposedly. Even if you're of age, we recommend you exercise caution if you're easily bothered by the contents described above. Take care of yourself first and foremost. Prologue. Okay, so this is going to explain what I just explained, but a lot better. Okay. A dimly lit room in the midst of the fanciest hospital your family could afford. A simple bedroom surrounded by gray walls and dusty curtains on all sides. Beyond the artificial barriers lie identical cubicles all around you. They're a bit livelier than yours. About as lively as they can be in a place like this, anyway. There are no shows to watch while you wait, no games to play, no books to read, and no one to talk to. None of your family is allowed in at this hour of the day. You can listen to other patients as they laminate their woes to their loved ones, sobbing and crying while holding each other tight. You haven't paid attention to any of them for quite a while. It only makes you feel worse. You're sprawled on your bed, hidden within the discomfort of your sheets, tired and silent. Your eyes are red from all the tears, and the streaks they've left in there, wake, are still visible hours apart. The inside of your mouth is as dry as the voices of the nurses and doctors that seldom come visit you. You're shipwrecked, drifting off in the misty night, waiting for the waves to finally swallow you whole, however long that may take. You already know that all these treatments are meaningless, that there's no saving you from yourself. Your family trusts in the doctors that they're wasting their finances on, praying to whatever God is out there that he may listen to their plight. But you lays in this bed who endures the painful treatments, you must bear the nightmares that come and haunt you every day and every night. You outgrew hope long ago. So you lie there alone and afraid, and your body frozen as if encased in ice, your mind stuck in a loop. Over and over you repeat to yourself the brutal truth you cannot run away from. You are going to die. Pum pum pum. There's the twist. It's furries. This is a good furry game. But it's safe for work. Alright, let's get into it. Good evening there. How are you doing today? This must be the doctor? A woman suddenly appears before almost gives you a heart attack as the sheer volume of her voice strikes you like thunder in a storm. It's not her unexpected arrival that jolts you from your dark thoughts, of course. You've gotten used to people coming and going all the time in this forsaken place. Everything fell into a monotone routine after half a year of lodging here. No, what startles you the most is her voice, so starkly different from the nurses and doctors. So upbeat, so nonchalant, with a glimmer of something more barely hidden beneath the surface. This music is good. It's all original for the game, I believe. Same with the art, everything. Hardly appropriate given the circumstances. Hello, you there? Come on, I know you aren't dead yet. The lady laughs off your reluctance to engage her in conversation with a cheerful smile. I know I'm asking for a lot here, but can you so grace me with a chat, can't you? Who are you again? After many days of relentless crying, your voice sounds raspy and coarse, almost as if you were coughing. Who are you? The woman smiles upon hearing you speak, seemingly delighted for whatever. Ah, that's much better. Good to know I wasn't too late to the party. It's kind of hard to converse with a corpse. She chuckles at a grim joke for a moment, like lay in your bed, dumbfounded, shocked, yet morally curious by both her strange appearance and even stranger manners. Immediately you notice the lab coat that she's wearing, but just like her attitude, it's marked differently from those worn by the local doctors. Her species is tougher still to guess. She's mostly close resembles the Siamese cat with a beige fur all over her hands and neck, but the more you look at her, the less similarities you can notice. Yeah, I was thinking, can't really tell. But you can see her tail. You can't see her tail either thanks to her coat. I wonder whether she even has one underneath that outfit. After time spent calmly observing you, the strange lady addresses you once again. I guess I haven't introduced myself yet, huh? Sorry about that. It happens more often than I'd like. The woman extends her right hand towards you, though she likely doesn't expect you to shake it. I'm Dr. Shelley, but you can just call me Mary. What? How does that... Okay. Mary. I'm in the head of the synthetic department over at Pandora Laboratories. Got a bunch more titles under my belt, but none quite as important as the last. Needless to say, I don't exactly work here or anything. I'm here as a visitor, and you're free to call security on me if I start overstepping my boundaries in any way. Okay. How do you get in here, huh? But I think you should hold that thought for now. We've only just started getting to know each other after all. You have half a mind to have her thrown out right now. Truth be told, you have no clue who this lady even is aside from what little she's told you, and you're certainly in no mood to entertain whatever nonsense she's spouting. However, right as you're about to raise your voice, something that you previously mentioned has begun prodding in the back of your mind like a worm just digging its way into your brain. Pandora Laboratories, Synthetics. Something about these words feels oddly familiar, uncannily so, for reasons you can't fathom a guess at. Feel as though you've heard them before, but all your mind can conjure up are broken words and blank canvases. So sorry for asking this, but I just realized I didn't have a chance to look up your name before I got here. The nurses downstairs gave me a room, condition, and, well, everything really, but they never did bother to mention you by anything other than your number. And here I thought we're the ones working with robots. I thought we were the ones. I get it. Yeah. Which somehow succeeds at drawing a faint smile on your face, almost makes you forget that she just admitted to illegally obtaining the sensitive data. You realize you really should have called security on this nut job a while ago, but you honestly don't feel like it, not just yet. You reckon that can wait until you've given this doctor a piece of your mind. You. Do the doctors around here give their patients info to strangers all the time? Or are you a special case? Though there's no irony or a parched, dried up voice, the woman laughs at your queer. Nothing. Nonsense. Nothing. My. Mary. My. At least your sense of humor is alive and kicking. I might have made it in. Just in time, after all. But to answer your question, let's just say I have my ways. Don't worry, I'm not going to use your private data to sell you kitchen knives or low-calorie smoothies, unlike the workers here. I have standards. How reassuring. Oh, come on. Don't act like I'm out here trying to stab you with a needle or something. With a needle or something. Like I already said, that's the job of the people downstairs. All I want is to have a nice conversation with someone who, for one reason or another, managed to pique my interest. Surely you can understand this. Here. I piqued your interest? Instead of answering the question, the cat merely smiles. How about you tell me your name first, and we'll go from there. Unless you want me to leave you alone, of course. That be wise, you wonder, sharing your name and who knows what else with this bizarre doctor you still know so little about. You don't know who this Mary is or what she's after, nor is it clear what exactly you stand to gain in this surreal exchange. And yet, what exactly do you have left to lose? What do I have left? Anyways. It's not like privacy is all that important to you, right? Not many things are at this point. And the alternative to seeing senseless, dreamlike conversation is uneasy silence and ruinous contemplation. And then, for now... Alright, sure. Whatever. My name is Isaac. Feels weird revealing your name so carelessly to this stranger, like committing a sin you've never knew existed. Though it's probably just you being dramatic, as usual, all things considered. Mary. Isaac, I see. Would that be the name your parents chose for you? Isaac. I'm sorry. I'm sorry? The cat's question takes you completely by surprise. Though you'd like to ask for an explanation of some sort, the cat swiftly beats you to the punch. Mary. Have you ever noticed how little of ourselves was chosen by us in this world? Our names, our genders, our sexualities, our bodies. Even our own personalities are mostly dictated by the way we were raised and by whom. All these things we never got a say in. Honestly. We're born with them, molded by them, and we're stuck with them until the day before she can finish, likely realizing how unsettling her ponders had become, she stops herself. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go there. Sometimes I can't control myself when I start rambling like that. What I meant to ask was, if you could start your life anew and this time you could choose everything about yourself, including your name, what would you keep it the same, or would you change it? Your attempts at understanding her words largely go in vain. Her words bounce off your head as though she spoke a foreign language. You understand what she's saying, but the meaning yet eludes you. What sort of question is that? Mary. That interesting sort? Wouldn't you agree? More like the ridiculous. Mary. Oh, come on. Don't sound so glum. Humor me for a minute. You won't be worse off for answering an innocent question. The woman's strange ponderings cause some stir within your mind. You have no idea where this bizarre line of questioning could possibly lead. Even so, you can't help yourself from indulging it further, afraid to return to the dread and emptiness that can precede it. Mary, so what would it be? Oh, choice time, okay. To be known as... If I could... Oh! Tove. Mary. Tove, huh? Interesting. Is that your online ally? Yeah. Cool nickname you always wanted to have, or maybe it's the name of your favorite character from a cartoon or TV show. The first one. I'm just kidding. Don't worry. I won't pry. Either way, names are far from the most important part of an individual. They just there so we can assign a label to the countless faces and voices in our heads. For now, Isaac is more than good enough for me, but I wouldn't mind calling you Tove someday. Okay, time out. Or Isaac. Okay, time out. There, The woman raised an eyebrow at your objection, seemingly quite surprised by your visible confusion. Isaac, is there even a point to this conversation? Because I can't even smell a hint of one. Mary. Of course there's a point, and I was getting to it eventually. Eventually is much too long for a frame of your taste, considering you don't even know what this talk is about in the first place. It's a little difficult to speak up, especially in your condition, but you try to articulate your confusion as best you can regardless. I really don't understand why you're doing this, or why I'm going along with it, for that matter. When people come visit me, I'm used to hearing them talk about their lives, their memories we've had together, sometimes about the awful weather outside. But now you come along and start asking weird questions out of the blue, and then look at me as though I'm supposed to just nod and go along with it all. It's true, your conversation so far wasn't particularly enjoyable. It was definitely out of the ordinary for sure, but not necessarily awful. However, given what little time you have left, you can't shake off that feeling that this discussion is an utterly pointless endeavor, not unlike throwing buckets of water into the ocean. Then again, wouldn't that be true of all the conversations you've had on this bed? I just can't see the point of doing any of this. You hear the cat exhale a deep sigh as she rests her back on the near wall, pleading expression on her face. Mary, I understand, really. I know there's a lot going through your mind right now, and that you're not prepared for this conversation. At the same time, however, I can't really afford to slow down with you. I know you prefer if we introduce ourselves better first, or if I explain what I'm trying to achieve here in more detail. I have every intention to get there, trust me. But, unfortunately, I have some questions I need to ask first, and I can't skip out on them. Time is of the essence, after all. I've got places to be, people to talk to, and plenty of work to do. I don't have much time, and truth be told. She takes another deep breath in as she addresses you once again. I'm not even supposed to be here right now. I was like, wait, what? What does she mean by that? But then, Mary. Oh, of course, well, I had the luxury of being late, if/want. You, unfortunately, lack even that. There's no telling how much time you have left in this world, so you need to consider what you do with it wisely. We can use it to have some regular chit-chat, of course, and then we can go our separate ways, having gained absolutely nothing. Or you could let me ask you a few more questions, even if they're a little bit off the rails, and maybe we'll both come out of this a bit better off than we start. What's it going to be? A little bit better off, as if there's anything you could possibly do to make you feel any less miserable right now. But you've come this far already. Might as well see if there's really a point to all this. Really is a point to all this. Alright, I guess we can do a couple more questions if it's what it takes for you to start making sense. Mary, Excellent. Trust me, this won't take long at all. In fact, this is the very last question. For now, at least. Ellie takes out a tablet from which her lab coat makes if to write something on it. What pronouns do you use? An extremely awkward silence follows her query. Isaac. Really? That's what you made such a fuss over? What do they have to do with all of this? Mary. Hey, you're the one who went off on me. Is there anyone to blame for dragging this conversation on? It's you. Isaac. That's probably a correct assessment, all things considered, but you don't have time to worry about that as the feline quickly picks up the pace. Mary. Look, I know it's stupid, but no matter how this conversation goes, I'll need to file a report once I get back. Company regulations require me to list your preferred pronouns somewhere in there. Something about avoiding potential lawsuits and things of the sort. If you ask me, it's just a little paperwork meant to be given to the interns. Meant to give the interns something to do. But what can you do? If you really don't want to answer, I can just write... Isaac. No, it's fine. You're not exactly excited by the idea of sharing even more personal data with her, and you still have no idea what any of this is for, but if this is what it takes for the doctor to start talking. If you ever must know, I go by... I'm gonna just say he. Not even a second later, she's already finished typing that on her tablet. Mary. Alright. I'll be sure to remember that too. Isaac. I'll hold you to it, I guess. You got any more surveys you want me to fill out before you tell me what in the world you're doing? Usually people charge money to give their private information out like this, you know. They do, don't... Or Mary. They do, don't they? Well, don't worry about that for now. You'll be compensated for the time you're lending me more than enough, trust me. You feel as though you're meant to be reassured by that knowledge, and yet something by the way she spoke only excited, shivers down your spine. There's some really good writing in this. Like, actually, using like proper grammar and all that, and talking and everything. Mary. And yes, as a matter of fact, we're done with the boring part. Now we can finally get to the real meat of the discussion. I say. Oh, great. And here I thought I was going to make it past all those needless questions. The woman's gaze veers off to the side for a moment, as though genuinely remorseful. Mary. Yeah, that really took a while. I apologize for that. I don't usually take this long to get to all the bureaucracy sorted out. Were it for me, we'd have skipped over entirely. So, since you're both very much raring to go, how about I ask you a real question? The woman leans over the railing of the bed, a sly smile on her lips. You can't help but feel slightly uncomfortable as her sudden nearness for some... at her sudden nearness. Mary, have you ever heard of synthetics? That came out of the blue, alright. Certainly not what you expect her to ask. No, but that excited over-the-moon face, anyway. And just what in the world is she talking about, anyway? Synthetics? Even now, you haven't the faintest clue of what she means. Isaac. No, not at all. Are they important or something? The feline smells almost laughs at your unpreparedness. Judging by the look on her face, she must have expected this kind of reaction. Mary. You could say that it's a little something I've come up with. A project I directly oversee back at the labs. We've been working on it for more than a decade now, but we only started spreading awareness of it recently. It's no wonder someone was stuck in who was stuck in a hospital for half a year like you doesn't know about it. To put it simply, synthetics are bionic constructs made of both organic parts, artificially made of course, and mechanical ones. They're humanoid androids, built to resemble and operate as if they were a real human. The revolution is underwhelming, to put it lightly. Isaac. So, artificial bodies for AIs to walk around him? Really? That technology has been out for a few decades, at least. Am I supposed to be impressed or something? Again, she smiles. Apparently the answer is yes. Mare. It has, hasn't it? I would know. We were the ones who first came up with it, after all. Isaac, you were? The woman's smile widens in response to your query as they're implying an affirmative answer. The more she looks at you like that, the more she spurs you to remember. The less you can shake off the feeling that you should know what company she's from and what she's here for. And you do. Isaac. Pandora. I thought I recognized the name. You're that huge R&D company, right? The one that's always on the news for one reason or another? Mary. I didn't know we had a fan. She jokingly says, still brimming with pride. That would be us, yes. The ones who came up with all the cool things that you can't do without in life. Make tech, high-end prosthetics, advanced drones and robots. AIs, Chronos. You interrupt her amidst her smile, trying to remind the strange lady of what people really know her company for. At first, the woman appears mildly irritated by the point you've raised. But that quickly changes as soon as she realizes the peculiarity within your gaze. Peculiarity. I don't know what I'm... Anyways. Mary. Yep, that was our doing too. Looks like someone knows their recent history. Although, you don't seem anywhere near as bothered by it as most others' interest. You shrug or at least try to show as much to the doctor. What difference does it make? I'm dying. It's kind of late for me to worry about this stuff. If anything, I guess it's only fitting that someone from Pandora would come talk to me on my deathbed. If I didn't already have enough reasons to believe I'm doomed, this would be the hint. The doctor, or rather the scientist, is at first taken aback by your reckless statement. However, before you know it, even she's laughing along at your morbid attempts at humor. Mary, I knew you were gonna be fun. Right as I saw you. Isaac. Well, it's good that I can still liven up someone else's day. Mary, believe me, you did way more than that, and I can't thank you enough for it. I suppose it's only fair I try to reciprocate. She says confidently as she resumes her spiel from earlier. Mary, artificial bodies for AIs to walk around in, you said. Well, I guess you're right when you say that technology is nothing new. As far as AIs are concerned, at least. Sure, we've been able to house artificial minds within artificial bodies for decades. But what about real minds? Isaac, real? Real what? Yeah. There's no way that you heard that right. You reason. And yet the cat keeps on talking as though you did. Mary, human bodies aren't built to last. As you are quite clearly well aware. Over the course of time, we lose our youth, our beauty, our limbs, our sanity, and ultimately we're doomed to lose our very lives. But machines? They don't suffer from the same issues. They can continue to operate on and on and on, and repairing themselves is faster, cheaper, and easier than operating on a human of flesh and bone. In theory, though, the adequate upgrades and maintenance, even a computer from 100 years ago, could continue to be useful in 1,000. While the woman drones on, you can do nothing but stare at her, dumbfounded, still every bit unsure of what's going on as you were earlier. Isaac, what does this all have to do with anything? What does this have to do with me? Mary, isn't it obvious? Everything? She brashly claims right as your confident gaze finally meets yours. What if there was a way to transfer our consciousness into a computer? What if we could just take our lives, our personalities, our memories, our identities, place them somewhere they won't fade away? I've been wondering about that for the longest of times, and by the looks of it, you've been doing it too. Wondering if there's ways to avoid the inevitable, to cheat death itself, and live forever. You see, that's what I'm here for. That's what this is all about. That is what synthetics are truly for. Well, that was escalated quickly. A faint chuckle escapes your lips as you try to proceed all the woman has shared with you so far. Isaac. Right. Out of curiosity, how much alcohol did you drink on the way here? The cat evades your sudden jab with the finesse of a cheetah. Mary. Huh? That's a cool question. I'd say about half a cup worth of vodka mixed with a little bit of lemon juice and garlic chips. Isaac. Yeah, that sounds about right. What? Garlic chips? Alright. Hey, don't judge my tastes. I'll have you know I perfected my secret brew over many decades of experimentation. Sounds like a lot of time for a trial and error. Mostly error. Given her description, all of a sudden you wish the two of you were just a little bit further apart from each other. Either way, this is hardly relevant information right now. Why is that? Isaac. Yeah, well, as fun as this conversation has been so far, I can't help but feel that, you're kind of insane. The fun kind, but insane, nonetheless. Sure, you guys at Pandora are at the top of your field and whatever, but this sounds like fucking nonsense. I've heard fairy tales more believable than this. And if this bedtime story is the woman's idea of cheering you up, then she's far more suited to a psych ward than a robotics company. Maybe she didn't mean it. Perhaps she truly believes in her make-believe tales or in her science experiments. But you're tired of talking hypothetic miracle cures with doctors. You have been for quite a while now. And yet, right before you can say as much out loud, the scientist immediately shuts you down. Mary. Here, take a look at our latest models. With any other word, the lady hands you the tablet where she had previously written down your personal data and invites you to take a look. There's an image plastered on a high-quality screen. Lizard-esque robot laying motionless within a tube-like contraption. Definitely unlike. Maybe it's. I really have to be calling right now. I just wait for the phone.
Call from Alberta.
There, and go to answering machine. Okay. It's just definitely unlike any robot you've ever seen. Its shape, anatomy, the way the joints are seamlessly connected with one another. It resembles a giant lizard, or maybe wingless dragon, with its sinus body powerful looking limbs, and long tail. In the darkness, had you not known any better, you might have even mistaken it for a real human. But the illusion is quickly broken. The robot has no eyes, but a large visor that doesn't let you see beyond its cold black exterior. You've never seen anything quite like this, not even faintly. At the very least, it doesn't seem like the doctor's lying about the android's existence. Without even thinking about it, you make a wiping motion at the screen with your finger, revealing another image right after it. It's not much, just an image of the prototype taken from a different angle with a few lights turned on. However, it's enough to prod your interest even further. You keep flicking your fingers on the screen, moving from image to image at ludicrous speed. There are dozens, no, hundreds of them, thousands even. There are different models, some that even look more mammalian than reptilian. And some of the photos were even taken in completely different environments than the first. And there's blueprints, reports, articles, essays, looking more authentic, each looking more authentic than the last. The more you see, the fewer your doubts become. These images aren't fake. This isn't some sort of elaborate prank, and Mary over there isn't lying to you. Ridiculous and far-fetched as it seems, Synthetics do exist. You put down the tablet for a moment and turn to face Mary, whose large smile betrays her pride and confidence in her work. I wonder how long she's been looking at you like that and while you pursued the tablet. After a few seconds spent recognizing your thoughts, you finally managed to ask the million-dollar question. Do they actually work? She chuckles at your query, having expected you to ask at some point or another. Likely expected you to ask something. Mary. A few more slides to the right, if you will. You do as the woman instructed and what awaits makes your heart skip a beat. A video of one of those machines walking around on its hind legs, ordering coffee from vending machines seamlessly without a care in the world. It cheerfully drinks a hot beverage alongside what seems to be a researcher conversing amiably with them, just like the human. What a strange voice it has. It's a little different from a human's, in ways that you can't quite explain. Regardless, somehow it still feels human. The way it speaks, its tone, its emotion. This isn't just another at least not a C grade or even a B grade. This is on a completely different level from anything you've ever seen or witnessed. A level that you cannot imagine could possibly be fiend. So that's Mary. A walking, talking, and very happy synthetic. Our first real success after decades of experimentation and prototyping. A human. A human being extracted and reinserted into a machine, a person that will not die, an identity that will not fade, and will keep on living just the same as it always has. So what do you think? Unbelievable, am I right? Unbelievable indeed, and yet it's right there in front of your eyes, a dream, a vision taking shape and form. Although you lack all the pieces of the puzzle, you start to feel the faint light of hope shining within your mind once more. And yet, the pragmatic side of your brain still isn't fully convinced. It laughs and scoffs at what it sees, ever so reluctant to relinquish the fear and despair that it now knows so dearly. So you want to stuff me inside one of those shiny walking computers?
Call from 403-879-9060.
Can just have one day where I fucking peace to myself. Bullshit. Motherfucker's trying to bother me. Mary. Well, you seemed well, you seem to catch on to things quickly. The way she chuckles at your remarks sends strange vibes coursing down your spine. This Mary seems to enjoy oversimplifying her work in explanations far more than most professionals in her line of work. You're not sure how to take this intriguing quality of hers. Isaac. Why? What do you have to gain? Mary. Lots and lots of valuable data, of course. Like I said, we are still testing this technology, and we're quite interested to see what effects your new living quarters will have on your life. Among other things. So she says, and yet your suspicions only grow. Isaac. Where's the catch? Mary? Isaac. How much will you make me pay for this? The woman is at first taken aback by a question, but ultimately laughs it off as just another joke. Mary. It's on the house, kid. Doesn't get much better than that, does it? Mary. You get a sweet new bar, free of charge. We get to study you from afar and gather all the intel we need. That's all there is to it, really. It does sound rather appealing indeed. An offer you'd be hard pressured to refuse. But that can't be all. There's no way something as revolutionary, as world-changing, as life-saving as this would require so little sacrifice on you. Your intuition keeps insisting that this doctor still has a few baits hidden under the murky waters of her proposition. Isaac, is that all? Mary pauses, uncertain. Mary, sorry? Isaac, I said, is that really all? You spot Mary biting the corner of her lip, failing to conceal the doubt that has overtaken her. You properly settle yourself on the bed to better meet her gaze from this angle. Not even she can hide away from the doubt that has seeped into her very eyes. Isaac, it's not, is it? What else are you telling me? The cat sighs in a vain attempt to make the stress vanish from her face. She probably thought it was worth a shot. She can't bring herself to look you in the eyes as she finally answers your relentless inquiry. Mary. Yeah, no, you're right. There is a catch. There is a catch. She hesitates to elaborate. You can only wait, silent but restless, as she ponders how best to explain herself. Mary, we don't know if it works. Isaac. Huh? Mary. We aren't sure if the transition, as we call it, works as intended, or at all, for that matter. Isaac. What? Isaac. No, you can't be serious. You show me that video, that robot, synthetic whatever. They were talking, moving, behaving exactly like a real person. Mary. But are they a real person? Or just a highly advanced AI mimicking a real person? No. Believing they were a real person. Of that, we're still in the dark. I was like, that's ridiculous. How can you not know whether it actually works or not? What's the whole point of this technology if you can't be sure if it's real people in there or not? The tone of your voice is steadily rising, earning a few stares from the people in the cubicles around you. I nailed that. You can barely feel their judging stares on your frail and meekly body invested in this conversation as you are. Mary, it's not so simple. The process we're using to transfer people's consciousness into the machines, the transition, it's completely unlike anything humanity's ever conceived. Impossibly hard to explain to. Hell, not even I don't know all the details, and I'm in charge of the whole thing. I know I probably think we're stuffing people in those androids, but the truth is we aren't. Not even their brains. Even if they could survive in there, in time they would rot as well. All organic matter decays eventually. It'd just be prolonging the inevitable. And that's not what we're set out to do. The only thing we're trying to transfer from a human into a synthetic is their consciousness. Their ego, their humanity, their soul. Something that could, theoretically, survive the death of its host. And I don't mean that in the famous people live forever way. I'm being very literal here. Of course, all this hinges on the idea that the soul really exists. That there's more to our bodies than simply flesh and bones. That there's more to our personalities than mere electric signals coursing through our neurons. That doesn't explain why you're testing this technology out before figuring all this stuff out. I guess more expressive than that, but whatever. Anyways, Mary, if you have any ideas how we're supposed to do that without experimenting on actual synthetics, I'm all yours. You're trying to come up with some kind of answer to a seemingly idiotic challenge, but you can't. You don't have the knowledge needed to propose any alternative, especially in your weakened mental state. Mary, I know that it feels that we're throwing darts at the wall and hoping that they stick the landing. And that those darts are literally actual people. But science isn't just about theorizing and coming up with cool explanations that sound good and nice as long as they're in your head. Sometimes you have to take risks, be bold, make sacrifices. Except you're asking that sacrifice of me. Mir, I'm not asking anything of you. I'm just presenting you an opportunity. A choice. Every other synthetic that is alive today, or who they were before the transition, if you want to be stingy about it, knew the risk, and now you know as well. I know that it's not safe, it's not proven, and it's not perfect to answer to your problem. But the only way to get to the point where it will be safe, proven, and certain is through lab experimentation on willing candidates. That is why we collect all the data post-transition to try and figure this riddle out, to answer one of life's greatest questions. Whether human souls truly exist or not. The existence of human souls. Now that's something you've never expected a corporation to research, not even to an end as wacky as this. It's one of those questions you always wanted an answer to, but never thought you'd actually be able to answer. You ask yourself what you think the answer is, almost as if on reflex. But the cold shivers down your spine, and your rapidly quickening heartbeat soon convince you to seize. You try to assign this to the malicious feeling, hoping that you can simply forget it as though it never existed. All in vain. In the end, all attempts at processing the information presented to you end up there, with you pondering on your own mentality, coming to the terms with the expiration date placed on by your brain, wondering whether there is anything you can do to alter it. You reassigned yourself to fate, for there was nothing more science could do to help you. But now, this new opportunity presented itself, restoring a faint spark of hope within your heart, only for it to flicker and disappear as quickly as it once arose. So, it's a gamble. You're betting on your transition, whatever it is, to actually do its job and save me. Betting my life on it. Alright. Well, I'm not betting anything. You are. Like I said, all I'm here to do is give you a chance, even if it's just a shot in the dark. It's up to you whether to take it or not. But, Mary, think about it this way. If you don't accept my offer, you're guaranteed to die 100%. I've given you a brief look at your file. You had good reasons to look as gloomy as you did when I first saw you. You know what lies ahead better than I do. It's not going to be pretty. But if you accept my offer, who knows what might happen. Maybe you'll still die, and nothing will have changed. Or maybe, just maybe, you'll become one of the first humans to ever cheat death itself. You don't know what to think anymore. You feel your heartbeat increasing with every passing moment as you consider the woman's words. Isaac, be honest. What are my chances? Mary, it's a bionomal test, really. Either you survive or you don't. We can't spend all day theorizing your likelihood of success, but that's what it's about. Theorize. Your actual chances, either 100% or 0%, depending on the truth. The mad scientist's face now looms mere inches away from your own. Her sharp pupils staring straight into yours. You find it impossible to evade her gaze, no matter how hard you try. I know it's not very credible, given I'm the one suggesting this possibility to you, but if I were you, I'd totally risk it. I mean, at best you get a new life to play around with, and at worst, you just get exactly what you've gotten had you not done anything in the first place. That's what you're thinking too. You can't deny that your odds of survival, assuming there are any in the first place, are higher with her plan than without. Yet, still, a strange nagging feeling at the back of your head keeps bothering you. Isaac, I just can't understand why me. There are countless people, some even in this very room, who deserve a second shot at life more than I did. Mary. I suppose you're right, in a way. Isaac, you suppose? What's that supposed to mean? The cat smiles as she nods at you, confusing you even further. Mary, you want to know why I'm offering you, of all people, this opportunity? Because I picked a folder at random from a locker, and it happened to be yours. The woman's words steal all breath from your lungs like a sudden punch to the gut. You're fucking with me, right? That's the reason you came here today? Sundays appears a little surprised by your sudden outburst. What? Were you expecting some sort of careful consideration, or maybe a more routine, heavily scrutinized roulette? I happened to pass by and decided I'd look for a new candidate for experimenting. I chose a folder at random and it happened to be yours. That's about it. You almost puke at her explanation, disgusted by the sheer randomness of it all. Isaac, this is so messed up. Mary, oh really? I beg to disagree. Tell me, do you believe in fate, in destiny, in the idea that all our actions are preordained by God, the universe, or something else beyond our understanding? Yet another ridiculous out-of-the-blue question, but you feel like you've gotten used to it by now. You reluctantly share your answer, barely suppressing the anger that it causes you as you do. Isaac. Well, I guess something's responsible for landing me here at my age. I don't know if I'd read that. You almost feel dirty saying that out loud. Your parents would have definitely scolded you for even thinking something like that. Yet your answer seems to excite the woman before you all the more. Huh? So that's a yes? Interesting. Most people would have just blamed themselves in your position, or maybe someone else's who had nothing to do with it. It's nice to hear that you know exactly who's to blame for landing you in the bed. You're not sure you understand, truth be told, but Mary appears pleased with your answer nonetheless. Anyway, Mary, to answer your previous doubts, if everything truly is preordained, then surely me picking you at random out of all those folders was meaningful to you. If you weren't chosen by me, then maybe you were chosen by the universe or something like that. Isaac, I don't think it's that simple. Mary, maybe it isn't, but that's not the point. Destiny or not, you now have one in a lifetime opportunity before you. Quite literally, if I may. Only you can choose whether to take it or not. Isaac. But why me? Why do I get this opportunity and not someone else? You'd probably be shouting at the top of your lungs now, if only your throat could afford that. Instead, you just whisper harshly at the cat. Your words half dying as if they were leaving your mouth. Why me? Not a child who suffers from the same condition. Some probably have it even worse than I do. Mary stands motionless by the side of your bed, once more incapable of meeting your gaze. Not even her cool facade can hide the pain and discomfort she feels as she listens to your heavy, heartfelt words. Isaac, if children are a no-go, there's still countless people who've done more to earn this than I did. People who've dedicated their lives to saving others, to help those in need, who've got something bigger than them worth living for, who deserved a second chance time and time again. And yet they're all going to die, all the same. Death will claim their lives despite their achievements and dreams, just as it will yours. Only now you realize the sheer insanity of it all, of dreaming, of hoping, of living, all for what? For it all to end just like that, without so much as a warning. You recall your dearest friend, who you haven't spoken to ever since resigning yourself to your fate. Your young cousin who dreamed of being an astronaut and going to space ever since he was old enough to speak. His parents, your relatives, who's always tried to rein him in because it was never going to work. Your other uncle and aunt who taught you ever since you were little to do good and be nice to others so that God may smile upon you. Your mother, who only half a year ago was yelling at you to get your act together and start thinking about the future. All the things you were promised. The foundations you spent your whole life, so far building step by step, brick by brick, in anticipation of what's to come. Only now you do realize how pointless it all was, when all it took was one odd turn of the wind to make everything crumble into dust. Isaac, life is so fucking unfair. You cry your heart out like never before, so much so that it physically hurts. Every tear that comes streaming down your cheek hurts like a burning. Oh, so that was more emotional. But you gasp for air like a newborn, slowly, continuously, painfully. You probably look like a maniac right now, finally befitting the madhouse that surrounds you, but you don't care. It doesn't matter. Nothing does. Nothing ever did. And the realization hurts you more than the cancer ever could. Mary looks away for a moment, lost in thought, melancholic. She doesn't seem to know what to say. Perhaps she's contemplating leaving you to your fate to run away for the sorry mess you've become. You wouldn't blame her. You'd get away from yourself too, if only you could. And yet she remains silent, unmoving, contemplating, pondering over something you can't quite grasp. Beyond the liquid certain that veils your gaze, she remains bold and stoic, like the pillar holding the madness that is sealing from crumbling on top of her. You stare at her intently as your body trembles, as your lips freeze, as your eyes almost go blind from all the tears with nothing left for you. All you can do is wait. Wait, and wait, and wait. Till suddenly, she turns to face you again, almost malevolent smile on her face. Mary, life is fucking unfair, isn't it? Go on, you're right to say it. It's true. Nobody will admit it, but it's true. You work and work and work, and all for what? For life to slap you in the face and call you her bitch? Piling problems upon problems on your back until it breaks? What did you deserve this? You do to deserve this? What did we do? What is life punishing us for exactly? For existing? For daring to try and live against our laws? Doesn't it make you mad? Doesn't it make your blood boil? All these years of studying and working and doing all that you can to live a meaningful life, and this is how the universe repays you? With brain cancer? You feel a need to reply, but you cannot bring yourself to utter word. Mary voiced aloud your every deepest thought, your every fear and resentment, even those you never knew you had. We did, Mary. We didn't choose to be born. Not in this world, not in this body, not in these circumstances. And yet, here we are. Because life doesn't care about us. It never did. And even on the off chance that we do end up liking our time here, we live in a constant fear of the day where it will all end. Such a miserable existence spent fearful and cowering before the whims of fate. Don't you find it unacceptable? Don't you long for agency, like I do? For the power to choose your own life, to choose what you wish to do, without fear of senseless constraints like gender or age. For the power to decide if and when it all ends. The people around you raise their heads, wondering what all the commotion is about. You can hardly notice them now, fully enamored with her spiel as you are. All your sadness, all your regrets, all your despair, they all lie before you in their grace's glory, taunting you with their unbridled power. And the cat is right. They do make you mad. Mary, you know what you want to do. I want to shove my big furry fists up life's ass. Show the whole world we don't have to bow down to it anymore. That we don't have to play by its rules if you don't want to. And I know you want the same thing. That's why I'm here. Because you want me here. You try to deny yourself in this opportunity by bringing other people into this, but we both know what you really want. You don't want others to steal this opportunity from you. No, you want to take it. You want to rebel against life just as much as I do. You're just waiting for someone to give you their permission to do so, to help you feel like you deserve this. Well, here I am. I want you to do this. I want you to claim what is rightfully yours. She frantically reaches for your hand, grasping it as tightly as she can with her own. I'll give you my fist and final bullet. Our only shot at mortality. It falls on you to make it count. It's time for humanity to rise up against the universe. It's time for humanity to rise up against the universe. To finally claim our lives as our own. And if you want me to be there when it happens, if you really feel like you deserve more than a sorry lot that life handed you, with her free hand she starts reaching in her pocket, emerging with a neat bundle that was only waiting for your call. You'll sign these papers. That was the prologue, I'm guessing. The rest of the memories of these dark days aren't as clear. The more you try to remember, the more details escape your grasp. In your head, what should be a sequence of actions and events. Are they? I'll die either way. What difference does it make to you? Dates. Blank. Isaac, I swear to God, don't do this to me. Places. Mary. Ignore the crowd, just focus on the resting. We'll take care of them. People. Mary. Bad news. The tumor is progressing faster than we thought. We need to get you prepped up and fast. Everything clashes together in a maddened amalgam, devoid of substance or purpose. Does it even matter anymore? You've already made your choice, and now you die with it. There's one moment that you recall, though. One perfect photo of your last moments forever imprinted onto your very soul. It details crystal clear even now. You recall a dark room hidden far beneath the earth. You recall many faces staring down at you from windows all around, either working on computers or merely watching as you draw your last breath. You recall deep mist and cold damp stalking in the corners of the room, sometimes even seeping through the glass you were looking through to tickle your skin and chill the blood in your veins. Well, perhaps that was simply a vision starting to fail you. You were in a laboratory after all, not a haunted mansion. Yet in those final decisive moments, recognizing truth from falsehood had become quite a challenge. As the reality had lost its touch on you somehow, replaced by something else. Perhaps you were simply going insane. The cold was quickly becoming unbearable. You felt as though you were walking through a blizzard in the nude. You probably laughed at that silly mental image, had you still been capable of it. Despite the temperature outside, the inside of your throat was coarser than a desert. You weren't going to last long. It was painfully obvious by now. You could lose consciousness for the final time at any point, for any reason, each time you realized it, you felt that inexorable moment inching closer and closer. Distractions, distractions, distractions. You needed to find some distractions. You reached forward with your finger as much as your body would allow and touched the thin but sturdy glass that now separated you from the tenderness room before you. It was remarkably warm to the touch for some reason. You felt the urge to leap forward and hug the glass with everything you had, wrapping every limb around your disposal around it, every limb at your disposal around it as tightly as you could. But after a long struggle that almost drained you of what little energy you had left, you were forced to settle with just your finger. How pathetic, and how ironic, too. Only now did you realize the absurdity of your decision. You traded your bed in the hospital for a coffin in the laboratory. You couldn't help but chuckle at the thought, as much as your body allowed you to. Anyway. In truth, it was more of a deep, ruckus cough than anything else. A more painful kind of exertion than you care to admit. As you tried to recuperate from that coughing fit, you spotted a friendly face peering down on you from beyond the glass. She never left your side that day, and she'd made a promise not to do so, even now. Mary. Someone's in a good mood. That's good. They do say laughter is the best medicine. I would know. I take the piss out of my friends all the time, and look at me now. As healthy as an apple. In spite of how nonchalant she tried to appear, you could feel a certain nervousness thinly veiled beneath the feeling in his voice, a nervousness that she was trying as hard as she could to keep buried deep within her. Somehow she knew that you could tell. Her smile became fainter as she sat down next to your castle and rested her open palm on top of your finger. Well, this is it. A couple more minutes of waiting, then it's all or nothing. How do you feel, kid? You made as if to answer, but you were too weak to even mutter the simplest of words. In the end, no matter how hard you tried, you hushed replies couldn't pierce the transparent wall that stood before you. Noticing you struggled, the doctor laughed awkwardly as he peered into your sickly eyes just a few steps away from total oblivion. Right. Scared, huh? I get that. Can't say I blame you. I'd be freaking out too, were I in there with you right now. Her smile darkened somewhat as if pondering the eventuality that all this may indeed have been in vain. But only lasted for a second. When she turned to face you once again, her face was as confident as ever, perhaps even more than it had ever been. Mary, I tell you what I told all the others. You're going to get through this. I know you will. You're going to win this battle for all of us. And I'll be here waiting for your triumphant return from the dead. Her tone was firm, but fond, and every word beamed with an immeasurable degree of pride and confidence. In a way, she almost felt family in that moment, like the mother and father you so desperately wished were by his side. Oh, and you can bet we're throwing a party once you wake up, too. There's gonna be cake, soda, maybe a little alcohol, and all those weird party games for nerds that I cannot understand for the life of me. Your treat, man. She couldn't help but laugh at her own remark, stupid as it was. In your mind, you smiled and laughed alongside her. If nothing else, it was a nice thought to go to sleep on. Mary. Best not ditch your own party, Toph. Know what I mean? Yeah, as best as you could. You weren't going to miss that party, of that you were sure. And if you were truly doomed not to attend, you'd still give death an ass kicking for the ages trying to get there. The feline ears perk up as she hears something you couldn't quite make out. She looked into the balcony up top where her colleagues and assistants were preparing the machines for the procedure and gave them a thumbs up. Then she turned to face you one last time as she got up from her improvised seat on your tube. Right. Better be going now. It's almost time. I'll see you on this side, kid. Don't keep me waiting too long. She makes it as if to go, only to stop herself at the last moment. Gently reassuring, she smiles at you once again. One last thing. I never told anyone else. One I saved just for you. I believe in you. I always will. All of a sudden, something started tickling you in your nose like a feather brushing right under your nostrils, while gentle smell of honey and sugar began to overtake you from within. You felt your hand now devoid of all strength, fall limp on your chest as your eyes rolled up toward your eyebrows. Shut tight. After that, you felt nothing at all. Act 1. Alright. We're gonna wake up and we're probably gonna save it there for the first episode. But Toph, it's been some time. You recall that fateful afternoon, the nightmares that followed for what must have been the 20th time now. 2 weeks have passed since your transition, and you still can't wrap your head around everything that's happened since. It still doesn't make any sense. None of this does. Your life certainly hasn't been the same since it ended. Supposedly ended, anyway. So that's us. When you first woke up, it feels like you just won the lottery. Everything, especially your own body, felt so much different than it did when you last went to sleep. But you felt surely that meant the transition had succeeded. But it wasn't that simple. You knew that going in. You know that even now. Shaking your head, you focus your gaze once again to the beautiful scenario that lies outside the window. The ride to New Relay is a short and, at least so far, uneventful one. The Meg train is fast and rather quiet, at least on the inside. Pt1 who might accidentally find themselves too close to it as it darts around the countryside at the speed of light. The sun still hasn't fully popped out the clouds and hangs low on the horizon, giving the sky a lovely reddish sheen. you never got a chance to see before in your life. Such a theme, you think, that views like this are only available so early in the day, when so few people can probably appreciate that. What a silly thought, you tell yourself. After all, you no longer need to sleep, or even rest. You can see the sunrise from beyond the mountains any day you want now. As long as you remember to set your inner alarm clock correctly. Certainly that's is an option. One you ultimately decide against. It would probably ruin the magic a little too soon. A warning comes on the intercom, jolting you awake from your thoughts. You're about 10 minutes away from new relay, it would seem. Alright, we're gonna save. Save. Yes. Let me go. Whoops. Go low. It's there. Okay. We'll come back to this. That was the prologue. This is very interesting so far. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed. I'm looking forward to episode 2. This is a great visual novel. And yes, it involves furries, but also a lot of deep subjects. It's very interesting. See you guys in the next one. Peace for now. It's been your boy Toe. Hope you enjoy.